Looking at enthusiasm in your eyes, I know y'all can do it. We believe in you, and Godspeed to you. Okay? Thank you. She sent me a little text and said, do you remember the day you stood in front of my office, in front of my desk and said, you're going to be the commissioner one day? I said, yeah, I remember that day, and it came true. Each position that I've had with the Georgia Department of Correction has been instrumental to getting me to where I'm at today. The first job that I thought about getting was being a correction officer. So I was fortunate enough to receive a job as a correction officer at Frank Scott State Prison in Milledgeville, Georgia. I learned a lot from being a correction officer. I was a correction officer for a little bit over a year and a half, and then I was fortunate enough to get a job as an associate counselor. Being a counselor really gave me the opportunity to see it from a different side, from the security side. I stayed as associate counselor for about 6 months. Then I was fortunate enough to receive a position as an OR counselor. Did that for about 8 months. And then I was promoted to senior counselor. And that kind of gave me my first taste of supervision. I had the opportunity to be a sex offender counselor as a higher level counselor. I facilitated drug programs. Next, I became a chief counselor, and that was really broadened my horizon because it gave me an opportunity to kind of be in the management level of the facility. Did that for about 2 years, and then I was fortunate enough to be given an opportunity to go and be a superintendent at Western PDC over in Butler, Georgia. I did that for about 8-9 months, and then I was fortunate enough to move over to open up McEver PDC. I was involved in the ground up building of a facility, the implementations of programming, implementation of all the processes to open up a new facility. It taught me that, you know, if you start something up that's not built on solid foundation, meaning the philosophy I picked up then, people, processes, and infrastructure, if you don't have that formula in the mix, it's not going to work. And I was fortunate enough to open up McEver PDC, stayed there for about 2 years. I was given the opportunity to convert Johnson State Prison, it was Johnson Youth Development Facility then, back into an adult facility. So that was a little different challenge, meaning that I had to go there, changing a juvenile system over to an adult system and change some philosophy. Stayed there for about 3 or 4 years, and then again in 2005 I had the opportunity to go to Rogers State Prison. And I could say that was one of those pivotal moments in my career that kind of helped me learn who I was as an individual and also enhance my leadership skills. I stayed there for about 2.5 years, and then I also was given the opportunity to go lead Phillips State Prison up in Beaufort, Georgia. Stayed there for about 1.5 years. And then the opportunity to become facilities director, meaning that having command of all the day-to-day operations of the Georgia prison system, is doing that job. Did that for about 2 years. I became assistant commissioner in 2011, June of 2011, and during that, from 2011 to this point, my kind of job kind of evolved and morphed into different positions. In 2016, I became chief of staff. I was constantly looking, okay, what would be my next move? What would be my next move? Because I always say this, you don't control opportunities, but you control the preparation. And I made sure I tried to prepare myself well, so when those opportunities arose, I was the man that it was no other choice but to choose me. One thing I realized that of all the commissioners, I've learned from each one. Because each commissioner that I've had or worked under brought a different skill set. And each one brought a skill set that was needed at the time they led this agency. And I think by me coming up through the ranks and understanding those different situations and different things that happen, I have a better understanding about if I hear something, I can react a different way because I've been there and done that. Our mission is non-negotiable. I say that, I've been saying that for years. Our mission is non-negotiable. And our mission as being non-negotiable is that we protect and serve the public by running safe and secure facilities. So my main thing now is, okay, are we running our facilities as safely and securely as we possibly can? And that's what this 90 days is going through, and focusing on making sure that those processes are in place. The biggest challenge is the retention, contraband, and our aging infrastructure. We got to make sure that when we hire somebody, we're hiring the right individuals, and also we got to make sure we're training those individuals to make sure that when they come to GDC, it's not a transitional job. It's a job that when I get here, I want to make it a career. I want to make a difference. We're focusing on that group that we call supervisors, making sure they have the adequate training to make sure that when those individuals come in, they're getting the proper supervision, that they don't want to leave, they want to make GDC a career. Next, I talked about the contraband issue. Once we can control the flow of contraband, then we can be proactive in doing the things that we need to do in our aging infrastructure. The last major bill that we had was like in the early 90s. It's just like any house, okay? You go to any house, if you don't do the upgrades or do changing out doorknobs and doing things over there, you know, you're not having good return on the investment that we're doing. We have a population that we know is getting more violent. And we got to make sure that our infrastructure is one that can support us housing those more violent individuals. Don't get me wrong, our staff, the men and women out there are doing an awesome job of trying to maintain what we have. But at some point, we got to look at our infrastructure. I want to be proud of them outside the wire, being productive citizens, paying their taxes, and being great Georgians. That's what I want to be proud of. I came up through the system. I'm one of them. You know, I understand what they go through each and every day. Being in the department almost 27 years, I've seen a lot, I heard a lot. And one of the things is I have a minor in history. I'm a history buff. And one of the things that I'm a student of corrections, as a student of history and learning history, I try to look at all the past failures that we've done in corrections and always try to make sure we don't repeat those failures. My goal is for us to be proactive and not reactive. And by studying that past, you know, we'll know the mistake that we made. And is it something that people don't know about me? The history, yeah, I'm a history buff, but I am who I am. I'm an open book. After 27 years in the department, you know, I've had to make some tough decisions. But every decision I made, it was not for a personal gain for Timothy C. Ward. It was a personal gain for the Georgia Department of Correction and making sure we moved this agency forward, making sure we were the best run correctional agency in the nation. And I think we're there. And my job is to continue to make sure we're pushing this agency forward. I support the Constitution of this state.
And the Constitution of the United States.
And the Constitution of the United States.
So help me God.
So help me God.
All right.
All right.
Congratulations.